How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are looking at a video that was suggested to me from someone on the channel. Unacceptable behaviors need to be looked at as unacceptable by none other than Joel Beckman. So I have a whole playlist on this guy. I don't like him. If you know me, then you know that I don't like him. I think he's an idiot. I think he spreads dangerous lies. I think he's cruel to animals. Blah, 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 blah. If you like him, then ignore everything I say and follow him. If you're on the fence about it, then you can listen to both sides and make your own decision. I do not recommend anything that he does. But we're going to take a look at this video. Already by the title, I disagree. Unacceptable behaviors do not need to be necessarily looked at as unacceptable. Because what behaviors do you see as unacceptable? Whatever he may see as unacceptable might be different than what I see as unacceptable. And even then, I mean, they're dogs. We're talking about dogs here, not humans. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, let's get started.
Use positive reinforcement exclusively with your children. You will have horrible children.
That's based off of an opinion of an idiot. So I don't care anything about what he has to say. Use positive, I mean, yeah, absolutely use positive reinforcement with your children, and you'll get a lot further than you do with, you know, whatever crazy family he's gonna have. Nothing against the kids. Let's actually get
Talk. Many of you need a little pep
I don't know what's up with his camera. This is not my thing.
All right, guys, you guys need a little pep talk. Many of you need a little pep talk. You have permission to stop your dog from doing incorrect behaviors all the time, right? I'm not talking about aggression, leash reactivity. You don't know how to do that stuff, or many of you don't know how to do that stuff. It's complicated stuff. It's hard. It takes time. It takes money to learn from professionals.
I know it doesn't take money. It takes time to understand. You can use free resources to learn how to work with your dog who is aggressive. What you need to do is learn. What is required is that you understand that you are likely the problem that is causing your dog to be reactive, and how you react causes your dog to react versus respond. So we need to look at ourselves and see, what do I need to do differently that I'm doing now to cause my dog to be more reactive? Is it because I have the leash too tight? Do I have the leash too short? Do I have him on a prong collar? Do I have, am I freaking out? Is my heart rate going up? So it causes his heart rate to go up, his or hers. Am I getting too close? Am I flooding my dog? What am I doing as the human to put my dog in the situation that makes him or her reactive? You don't need to spend money. I mean, you don't, it's good to work with an educated trainer who knows what they're doing, and you know, in the best world possible, uses positive reinforcement, not because it's the most humane way to work with an animal. You don't need to pay money for it. I mean, hell, I've helped people for free. Like, that's what I do here. You know, I barely make anything from YouTube. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it to help animals and their owners. So you don't need to pay all this ungodly amount, $2,000 for an hour, for his stupid ass class for him to tell you how to abuse your dog. You don't need to pay any money. You don't need to pay me anything. You don't have to even watch my own videos. Watch plenty of other videos out there. There's Grisha Stewart, there's Zach George, Victoria Stillwell, Training Positive, Positive Canine, all these other resources out there that you can look into. That doesn't mean that it's going to fix your problem immediately. It may not. You may need to work with a professional, hopefully one that works with positive reinforcement and is educated and experienced in working with reactive or aggressive dogs. But even when it comes to what he says is unacceptable behavior, it depends on what your priorities are. My priority is, I don't care if a dog is walking in front of me. I just don't want him pulling. I don't want him going crazy. My priorities are, I don't want a dog to be barking at me. I get triggered easily by barking. Whatever it is, it just, irritates me, sends me into fight or flight. Whatever reason that is, whatever trauma I experienced that causes that to happen. I just do not like barking. So people who have barking dogs that bark at things, That's their priority. They don't care about the barking, but they don't want the dog pulling on leash or walking in front of them. They want them to walk at heel on the side of them. That's their priority. So for one person, unacceptable behavior is different than another. Even then, I don't need to punish the dog for barking. I need to give him a different outlet for that. Or I need to find out, why are they barking? Is it in the breed? Is it in this? Is a learned behavior? Is the dog bored? Is the dog trying to alert me to something? You know, barking can be fun for dogs. Dogs really don't tire out of barking if they just bark to bark. So anyway, either way, you don't have to look at an unacceptable behavior and make it out to be unacceptable.
I'm just talking about normal around the house stuff. I have people drop dogs off all the time. Someone dropped a dog off today and the guy said, and he just takes stuff and runs around and I can't get it back, and he just jumps on counters, and I'm thinking, then stop him from doing it.
I mean, I can agree with that too.
Plain with my clients. Stop him from doing it. You guys know what to do. You don't think you know what to do, but you actually do know what to do.
So let me just say this real quick. I agree that you can stop dogs from doing certain things. And I tell that to clients as well. If their dog is pulling them and they're walking forward and I tell them, you know, and they're like, well, he just pulls. And I say, well, you're following him. You're allowing him to pull. You're literally walking behind him and allowing this dog to pull. And I try to also reiterate that when the dog pulls, they're being rewarded. If they pull to go sniff a bush, they were just rewarded using positive reinforcement. In that sense, they were reinforced to sniff the bush. The bush is what they wanted. They got to sniff the bush by pulling. Therefore, if I pull, I get what I want. So instead, we have to teach the dog, I'm going to stand still like a tree. We're going to walk backwards. We're going to walk the opposite way. Pressure and release, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole method to it. A method to my madness, so to speak. We're going to work our way up to the bush as the goal. But if the dog pulls, we're not sniffing. We're going back the other way. Or we're making sure the dog gives into pressure nice and softly because we have soft hands. If you want to see what I mean, then I leave a link in the description below of every video of my If you want to see what I mean, I leave a link in the description below of every video I make that shows how I use pressure and release when working with dogs, how I teach loose leash walking. So if a dog is pulling to a bush, we can still stop them from pulling, but still use the bush smelling, the smelly bush, as a form of positive reinforcement. I can teach dogs manners. Just because I use positive reinforcement doesn't mean I have a crazy dog. My dog, my Shiba, was very well behaved. Anybody could walk him. He didn't take food off of people's plates. He didn't counter surf. He didn't do any of that. And not because I beat him or because I used aggressive leash pops like this dummy here or anything like that. I didn't have to be aggressive to teach him other behaviors. I redirected him. I taught him different behaviors. If your dog is on the counter stealing the counter chicken, then don't leave chicken on the counter where your dog can get to it. Redirect them. If you have allowed this behavior to happen, you have to take the time to teach your dog another behavior so it stops happening, because it happened on your watch or somebody else's watch, whoever is around the dog the most. You need to take accountability for yourself and your own actions or lack of action of what you've done, but it doesn't mean the dog needs to pay for it.
Would you let a person come into your house and you take them in and you feed them and you spend thousands of dollars on them and you have fun with them and you drive them around, and then would you let them do whatever they want to you?
This is a dog, not a human. Humans, you can communicate and say, hey, I need you to help pay for bills. Hey, I took you in off the street. This is my choice to take you in and take care of you. Just like it's your choice to take in a dog. A dog is a privilege, not a right. A dog doesn't need to be thankful for a daggum thing you do. Okay? You decided to take him in. So you have to be aware it's going to cost thousands of dollars. Lord knows how much I spent on my Shiba just on vet bills because of his allergies and because of medication and because of, any little thing. But I expected that. And I was happy to do it until his dying day, because he was my part of my soul, because I wanted that, and I didn't hold him accountable. I wasn't upset that I had to do it. You get it and you expect it. I didn't expect him to behave any differently because I was buying the most expensive, most proper, biologically appropriate raw food for him. I didn't expect him to pay bills for that or behave a certain way for that. I didn't expect him to just willingly allow me to trim his nails for him because I gave him a roof over his house, his head, and fed him and gave him the best beds and couches and stuff possible. I mean, you get a dog because you want a dog, and you have to expect to take care of them. They don't have to be thankful for any of that. If you don't want that and you don't want that responsibility, don't get a dog. Just like a dog is not a person. And even if you take in a person or a friend or someone off the street, good for you. That person doesn't necessarily have to be thankful. I mean, of course, it'd be nice to you, but again, it's a dog and a person. It's a whole different ball game with a person than it is for a dog.
Knock it off. We're over this. You can't do that. No, you wouldn't, or I don't think you would. So it's enough with your dog. If the dog takes something,
a lot of people might still do that with humans anyway. A lot of people let people walk all over them until finally they've had enough. Not healthy, but again, it's a dog versus a human. There's a huge difference.
Go get them. You grab them. They feel the energy in your arm. You take it out of their mouth until the dog says it's sorry.
No. Your dog doesn't need to say sorry for shit, okay? You don't need to go grab them by the collar aggressively because guess what? Your dog's not going to want to come to you. Your dog's going to be hand shy. They don't want you touching their collar, touching their harness, touching their face. So good luck in the future if you follow this idiot's advice, just like his go get me game. Adonis would rip you to shreds. I mean, he wouldn't really. He would nip at you. He would run circles around this joker, because he was a real dog and he was a Shiba and he demanded respect and he got respect because he's an animal and he is a very smart. All animals are very smart, especially dogs. All dogs deserve respect. This guy, I have no respect for. He doesn't respect dogs. I don't respect him. He's cruel to animals, so I don't have to be nice to him. I don't have to be sugarcoating anything with him. He doesn't care how animals feel, so I don't care how he feels. And I don't care if whatever he says to me. I don't care that anybody, he doesn't care how I feel. Nobody cares how I feel. It's all about how the animal feels, okay? I'm here to support animals and how they feel and give them the consent to say yes and no. I give animals the consent to say yes and no. When it comes to them trying to, if a dog is chewing on something, I'm not going to just sit there and just let them chew on it, especially if it's dangerous. I'm not going to chase them, but I will teach them. That'll be my reminder. Okay, I need to really work on an appropriate drop cue, leave it cue, recall cue. And when we can, however you have to get that item. I'm not going to aggressively grab them and let them feel my power because I have, tiny dingleberry in my pants and I get, I get off on showing an animal that won't fight back that's smaller than me. I'm powerful because I have opposable thumbs. I don't need to do any of that nonsense. I will get them. I will trade with them using something they like, a higher value. You're not rewarding the dog for stealing something. You're rewarding the moment they drop the item. You're trading them. Then you take the item. Then you puppy-proof your house. Even if you have a 12-year-old dog, you're puppy-proofing it. You're dog-proofing it. And then the first lesson I work with them would be to go work on a good leave it, where I use a safe item that I don't want them to have. Like, say they took a glass bottle or something, and we don't want them to chew on it or that's more dangerous for them to hurt themselves than a slipper or a shoe. So we get an old shoe we don't care about, but we want to teach them to leave shoes alone. So we show them the shoe, we make sure they can't get to it, they leave it alone, they get a really high value reward. So on and so forth till you can drop the shoe, you can roll it around, you can, place it around them, and they don't care about the shoe. Then you move on to the next item, say a channel changer. You show them the channel changer, you want to work with something that if they happen to get it, they're not going to harm themselves. And you want to use a lower value item to start with that you're teaching them to leave alone, so you can use a higher value item for them to get reinforced by or rewarded by. So if we have a shoe and a piece of ham, And the shoe is like, so. The ham is like, heck yeah. That's what you would do. That's the example I'm trying to explain. Is you show them the shoe, they leave the shoe alone because they know they're going to get something better. You don't have to be showing it in their face. A lot of times if I leave it, I'll be showing the shoe here. I have the treat behind my back so they can't see that. They look at the shoe, they look away. Mark, yes, reward, bing, bang, boom.
Say it's sorry, it ears pinned, and it goes.
Dogs
okay.
don't need to say they're sorry. And the dog is not saying sorry. The dog says, I'm afraid of you. The dog loses trust in you. Good job, Joel. You're an idiot.
Sorry, lady. That's what you do.
No, that's not what you do.
That's not. You know.
You don't have to do that, is what I'll say.
I think people have been told by society, by Facebook pages. I follow like Bark Magazine on Facebook, and basically it's just like to deal with all these problems is all positive reinforcement.
Yeah,
like
why
there's
not?
whole industries, media industries, and all it is
because
you guys are fed wrong information.
Says him. That is his opinion. And he states it as a fact that you are being fed wrong information. You are being fed the most up-to-date information, scientifically proven. The most humane information, scientifically proven. That is more beneficial to use positive reinforcement than it is to use punishment or negative reinforcement or whatever this guy does. These studies are backed by science. But no, these people say, don't listen to science, listen to me. I have experience. Okay, great. Good for you. I have 12 years of experience one time. I've learned over those 12 years. I have not just repeated the same thing over and over. I'm constantly learning from dog to dog, from my own Shiba, from my own dog, from my own pets. So he talks about, you're being fed wrong information. No, they're actually feeding you more appropriate, right information if you want to be humane and you want to work quicker and you want to have longer lasting results and you don't want to have to bully your dog. The reason why he has to do it for you is because nobody else is willing to do what he does, because he's abusive to dogs.
It's not even real. The methods that you
not real
have been told to do, the positive
what do you mean it's not
you've
real?
been told to do to fix problem behaviors aren't real.
No, it is real. You're just a liar and an idiot, and you're blind, and you want your followers to remain blind with the blinders on or completely, covered with their eyes, because then you would be out of a job. You'd be out of business. You would be out of, you would have to change your whole lifestyle and the whole way you think. Well, Mr. Joel, the way you think is outdated. And if you think that what we do is wrong, then what you do is wrong. It actually is wrong. Because you're aggressive and you're abusive and you don't need to be with animals. You shouldn't be around animals. You shouldn't be able to teach. What we do, it's not about being, oh, I'm right and you're wrong. It's about what is right by the animal, what benefits the animal, what is humane by the animal. And how have I been in business as long as I have? How have I worked with so many dogs and made so much progress where in a class of puppies where there's an owner struggling with her puppy to hold him back and he's pulling and she's out of patience, and I take the leash and I give him his 6 feet of leash and I just do a little bit of that 2-step dance, just bring him back an inch using a finger's worth of pressure. Again, if you watch my loose leash walking video, you'll see how I do it. Back and forth, and it's all free. Don't worry, all this is free. Back and forth, back and forth. He's fine, he's calm. I ask him to sit once. He's distracted. He looks at me. He sits. He gets a reward. Then I use the hand signal. I reset him. Toss a treat, whatever. He gets distracted again. I use just the hand signal. No verbal, no lure, no treat in the face at all. And he sits and I reward. And the owner says, "You're a dog whisperer. How did you do that?" And I just said, I'm not literally doing anything other than just being calm and patient. I'm just waiting. I ask him sit once and I wait for him to sit. Whether he knows by now, after, 6 weeks of working together, he understands what the verbal means. Because this is a puppy class, we have 6 weeks of puppy class. He sits and it's fine, and he understands that. He understands the verbal and he understands the hand signal. She takes him and he goes right back to going crazy. And I tell her, look, you're relying on making him sit by popping the leash. You're relying on a tight leash. You're doing this, you're doing that. There's a whole difference. It's not that I'm a master or I'm a dog whisperer or I'm anything special or magical. I just know what to do with my body. I have soft, quiet hands. I have soft, quiet movement. And other people, the owner, has very loud, sorry, I got distracted. The owner has very loud, rigid movement, very loud, obnoxious hands in a way where she's always just holding him back. So, I mean, I'm nothing special. I've just been doing this long enough and I make progress instantly. I didn't expect to, but I made progress instantly versus people who want to pop and correct and use prong collars and use, his special go out the door method. I'm going to trick you and I'm going to pop you, and it's just nonsense.
It's fake. The whole thing is fake.
It is not fake. He's lying.
I'm not talking about sits and downs. That's easy. Watch YouTube, train to sit and down. It's cake. I'm talking the other stuff. I'm talking your dog running around wildly doing what it wants to do.
Well, that's just the dog doesn't have boundaries.
It's an attitude thing. It's not a what exactly do I do in this one situation. It's all attitude.
No, it's not attitude. He has the attitude. He's a narcissist. Okay? He thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He thinks he's the coolest dude on the block, and because he has opposable thumbs, he can tell a dog whatever the hell he wants it to do. He can do whatever he wants with animals, and because it works for him and all that, oh, you should do it too. But nobody could dare tell him what to do. Only he can tell you what to do. Sad little man.
Clap is a marker. A noise is a marker. A no. I don't really care what it is. There's a noise, which is a marker. Then there's a punishment. Then there's a correction. Whatever you want to call it.
No. How about if you're going to use a marker and you use the clap to get your dog's attention, then redirect. Redirect, don't correct.
Correct. Mark and punish. I call mark and punish.
No.
All day.
Mark and redirect. If you have to do it all day, then you're doing it wrong, dummy. If you have to do it all day long, then your dog is not learning. Your method is actually fake, false, incorrect, whatever you want to call it. Your way is the shitty way, and positive reinforcement actually makes progress. You goof.
2 people dropped their dogs off today. The dogs are just running around doing whatever they want all the time. And
well, because they don't know the boundaries of your house.
No big deal, or I don't know what to do. You do know what to do. You tell the dog to knock it off. Forget all the information you hear. It's all fake. It's not real.
Liar, liar, liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Dude, you're an absolute idiot. And you're lying. And because, you don't believe it. The man in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. So this guy, because he has, one eye, he's seen as king because he gets some kind of progress. And the land of the blind are the people who don't know any better. And they believe his blatant lies, gaslighting, and just manipulation. That's all it is. Dude, it's absolute manipulation.
It's not real. It is done for, I don't know why it's done. It's done because we only can be nice to our dogs. Can you only be nice to your kids? Use positive reinforcement exclusively with your children. You will have horrible children. I'm not saying you spank them. I'm not saying anything like that. Just try to use only, every time they do something, give them an M&M. That's your whole...
That's not how positive reinforcement works. There's other ways to reinforce your kids. By asking them to take out the trash, they take it out. You say, hey, thank you, I appreciate that. Why don't you go play with your friend Bobby or whatever? You can go play video games for 30 minutes. You did your homework? Thank you so much. Go do this. You can go do this for 30 minutes, do whatever. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't think you have to have kids to know that positive reinforcement can work with children and adults. I use it with humans all the time. I give them positive reinforcement because it reinforces behavior you want. If you just tell them what's wrong with them all the time, they're not going to try. They end up like this guy. This guy never gets any positive reinforcement, so he has to give it to himself. saying that, oh, use this exclusively with your kids and they're going to be horrible. That's the biggest lie that people tell, that people don't understand. Someone who doesn't understand how to use positive reinforcement would say something like that.
Life. Giving them an M&M.
Is he just talking here the whole time?
No, we got to manage so they don't. So keep them in your house.
That's not how positive reinforcement works. Let's see what else he has to say.
Till they say they're sorry. Ears pinning, going, okay, Mom, holy mackerel, you've never done that to me
No,
before.
The dog doesn't need that. They're going to
jump
absolutely lose trust in you. But go ahead. If you like him, go do what he does. All you did
was every time I got on the counter, you sit off. I didn't know that. How would I know that's the wrong behavior? That's what they're saying to you. Okay?
No, that's not. What we're saying is, if your dog is on the counter, tell them off, they get off, and then you manage the behavior. I just covered this in a video where someone was talking about Zach George, where, you know, the Cane Corso puppy was jumping on the counter, and they said, you're reinforcing the puppy for jumping on the counter. Every time he jumps on the counter, you call him away, you're reinforcing him for that. So he's going to go jump on the counter, which I've never actually experienced that before. You know, the only reason the dog would go jumping on the counter is if they expect something on there. They don't think far ahead enough to say, oh, I'm going to go jump on the counter and then come back to you because I get a reward. I've never actually had that happen. The only time I've had that, you know, fallout is with barking, you know, where the dog barks and then they're quiet and they get a reward. And then they'll bark and be quiet to get a reward. That's the only time I've ever had that. And then I have them be quiet longer, or I'll have them work for something, or we'll figure out, you know, they need more exercise or something else. But I've never had like a dog has never pulled on leash and then loosened up to get a treat. I usually don't use treats on walks anyway, but unless they're, you know, reactive walks or walks where I have a reactive dog. But that's just me.
Get your sort of your alpha hat on.
No, it's not alpha. In order to be alpha, dumbass, you would have to be a wolf that gave birth to another wolf. That is it. That is all alpha is. All this nonsense and this bullshit he talks about with alpha is just a lie. It's outdated information. He's an idiot because he keeps spreading it. So again, it's the blind leading the blind.
The leader of the house. Forget all the noise from society. Forget it. Society doesn't matter in your home.
The dog doesn't need a leader. They just need an owner.
Doesn't matter in your home. A well-trained dog matters.
He's telling you how to think. He's telling you exactly how to think that a, you know, oh no, none of this matters. I'm telling you that only a well-mannered dog matters in your home. You know what? Screw you, dude. Don't tell people what to think. I'm just giving you my opinion. You know, you can take it or leave it. I mean, I stand by what I say. But he's telling you, you need to be alpha, you need to be all this bullshit. Okay, you're an idiot. And I think we're done here. I've talked about him long enough. So thanks for the suggestion. I think you got enough of what I think about this video. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you got anything from it. If you have any other suggestions for me, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving for those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving. If not, then hope you have another wonderful regular Thursday and weekend. Be careful if you do go out on Black Friday. Please be careful. For those of you that don't go out on Black Friday, and just, again, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Cyber Monday. Enjoy Cyber Monday. Go say how to do to your little critters. Say how to do for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.